Everyone is afraid. Of course they are. Life is such that fear is inevitable. But those who become fearless do not do so by growing bolder. Boldness is merely the suppression of fear, the stiff upper lip, the pretense that one is not quaking inside. The truly fearless are not those who conquer fear, but those who embrace it. This is not about courage. It is about seeing things as they are, looking directly into the nature of existence, and realizing that fear is part of the play. Is fear the same as guilt? Not at all. Fear, when accepted, leads to freedom. Fear, when denied, condemned, or suppressed, turns into guilt. If you acknowledge fear as an inherent part of life, it ceases to be an enemy. You see, we are but small ripples in an unfathomable ocean, tiny dewdrops in the vast cosmic dance. And with that recognition comes trembling. I could be swallowed up. I could dissolve into the whole. That is the fear of death, which is, at its core, the fear of non-existence. But here's the rub: if you resist this truth, you suffer. If you accept it, if you fully let go, the trembling stops, and what was once fear expands into liberation. The same energy that was fear transforms into the vast openness of freedom. Just as a dewdrop slipping into the sea does not perish but becomes the sea, so too do we dissolve into the whole. The only way to transcend death is to accept it. Then death disappears. The only way to be fearless is to embrace fear. Then fear dissolves into space, and what remains is an exquisite sense of freedom. Fear is but a shadow, an insubstantial phantom. But like all shadows, it takes on substance only when you flee from it. Why does something that is so unreal exert such power? Because we empower it. Because we refuse to turn and look directly at it. You see, fear is always about something slipping away: status, identity, comfort, life itself. But who is it that clings to these things? The ego, the great pretender. The ego is merely a construction, a mask we wear to feel safe in an uncertain world. But those who are truly fearless have no need for such armor. The louder the ego proclaims itself, the more fragile it is. The truly fearless do not puff themselves up. They dissolve into the whole, unafraid of their own transparency. When you fight the ego, you miss the point. The ego is not the problem, fear is. And fear arises from the illusion of separateness, from the belief that you are a solid, independent being rather than a pattern in the great unfolding of the cosmos. Once you see through that illusion, once you accept that you are not separate from the whole, the fear vanishes, just as darkness vanishes when the light is turned on. But we live in a world that glorifies the ego, that teaches us from birth to play a role, to hide our trembling, to put on a show of strength. And so we all wear masks, afraid to reveal what lies beneath. Yet what happens when we drop the mask? The fear is exposed, yes, but so too is the wonder, the mystery, the great cosmic dance. And in that moment you understand, it was never about overcoming fear, but about no longer being afraid of being afraid. And so let go. Accept the trembling, the uncertainty, the inevitability of dissolution, and in doing so discover that what you feared was never real to begin with. You were never separate. You were always the whole, pretending to be a fragment. And the moment you recognize this, you are free. Meditation on the fear of emptiness. Make this a nightly ritual. Before going to sleep, close your eyes and, for 20 minutes, enter your own emptiness. Accept it. Let it be. Fear will arise. Let that be there too. Tremble with fear, but do not reject the space that is opening up. Within 2 or 3 weeks, you will begin to sense its beauty, its blessing. Once you touch that blessing, fear will dissolve on its own. No struggle is needed. Sit on the floor in a kneeling position, or any posture that feels comfortable. If your head begins to bow forward, and it will, allow it. You will naturally adopt a fetal posture, just like a child in the womb. Your head will touch your knees or the ground. Let it happen. Go back into your own womb and simply be there. No techniques, no mantras, no effort, just being. Get acquainted with what is present. It is something unknown, something your mind has never encountered before. The mind fears it because it comes from the unknown, from the realm of the unfamiliar. The mind wants to label it, to categorize it. But knowledge belongs to the mind, and the unknown belongs to the divine. The unknown has never been absorbed into the known. If it becomes known, it is no longer divine mystery. The unknown remains unknowable. Even if you touch it, it remains elusive. Mystery is not something to be solved. Its essence is to remain beyond comprehension. So each night, enter that space. The fear will be there, the trembling will be there. Allow it. Gradually, fear will fade and bliss will take its place. Within 3 weeks, you will experience a sudden explosion of energy, a deep joy in your very being, as if the night has passed and the sun has risen. Meditation to dissolve old patterns of fear. I have noticed a pattern within myself, a script I adopted as a child. Whenever my parents reprimanded me, whenever they spoke against me, I would shut down, withdraw, and comfort myself with the thought that I did not need anyone, that I could manage alone. Now, I see that I react to my friends in the same way. This is nothing but an old, rigid habit. Try doing the opposite. Whenever you feel like closing yourself off, open up. If you want to leave, stay. If you want to remain silent, speak. If you want to avoid an argument, engage in it with full enthusiasm. Every time a situation arises that triggers fear, there are always 2 choices: fight or flight. A small child often cannot fight, especially in traditional societies. In America, the child fights so much that the parents may have to run away. But in traditional cultures, in families where tradition remains deeply rooted, the child cannot fight back. The only available option is withdrawal, self-isolation as a defense. Thus you learn the trick of running away. Now the only way out is to counterbalance this habit. Whenever you feel the urge to escape, stay rooted. Be stubborn and engage in the battle. Try this for 1 month and you will see a transformation. Once you can embrace the opposite, I will show you how to drop both responses. Both must be discarded because only then does one become truly fearless, because both are illusions. So for 1 month, be a warrior about everything, and you will feel wonderful, won't you? Running away always leaves one feeling weak, inferior. It is a coward's trick, closing in on oneself. So be bold. Then we will discard both fear and false boldness, because deep down, even boldness is another form of fear. When both boldness and cowardice disappear, true fearlessness emerges. Try it. Meditation on trust. If you struggle with trust, you must look back. You must dig into your memories, journey into your past. Your mind must be cleansed of the imprints of history. You are carrying a heap of old baggage. Empty it. Here is the key. If you can return to past events not just as memories but as lived experiences, you will clear the debris. Make this a meditation. Each night, for an hour, revisit your past. Try to recall everything that happened in your childhood. The deeper you go, the better, because we suppress many events, refusing to allow them to surface in consciousness. Allow them to emerge. Each day, as you go deeper, you will begin recalling events from when you were 4 or 5 years old. Then, suddenly, you will hit a wall. A vast, impenetrable silence will stand before you, but keep going. Gradually, you will move further back, to age 3, age 2. Some people reach the moment of their birth. Some even go beyond that, to previous lives, to the very moment of death in a past incarnation. But if you can reach the moment of your birth and relive it, something will shift. It is a deeply painful moment. You may feel as if you are being born again. You may scream as the newborn screams for the first time. You may feel suffocated just as the newborn does in those first moments outside the womb, because for a few seconds the infant cannot breathe. There is great distress. Then, suddenly, a cry and breath enters, and the lungs begin to function. You may need to go that far. Then return. Keep going every night. This will take between 3 and 9 months, and each day you will feel lighter, freer. And trust will grow alongside this lightness. Here is the key. If you become aware of something in your memory, you are freed from it. Awareness liberates, whereas unconsciousness binds. And when the past is clear, trust becomes possible. Meditation to transform fear into love. You may sit in a chair or any posture that feels comfortable. Then fold your arms across your lap, with the right hand beneath the left. This is important. The right hand is connected to the left hemisphere of the brain, and fear always arises from the left hemisphere. The left hand is connected to the right hemisphere, and courage flows from the right. The left hemisphere is the seat of reason, and reason is timid. That is why you never find a courageous intellectual. Whenever you find courage, you will find a lack of intellectualism. That person will be irrational, necessarily so. The right hemisphere is intuitive. So this is a symbol, but not just a symbol. It arranges the energy in a new way, in a fresh alignment. So place the right hand under the left and let both thumbs touch. Then relax. Close your eyes and let your jaw loosen slightly, not forcefully, just enough to allow breathing through the mouth. Do not breathe through the nose. Breathe only through the mouth. This is crucial for relaxation. When you breathe through the mouth, the old mental patterns do not function in the same way. This is new. And in a new breathing system, a new habit can be formed with ease. Simply sit in this posture, breathing through the mouth, for at least 40 minutes. If possible, extend this to an hour. Do this daily. And in the meantime, never miss an opportunity. Whenever life presents a challenge, step into it. Always choose life. Always choose action. Never withdraw. Never escape. Celebrate every opportunity to be, to create, to transform.